So let me tell you about my first Tesla service visit or appointment experience. First of all, a little background information. I discovered several days ago that the key card for my Tesla was not working. Either one of them. I have two of them. When you get a new Tesla, of course you get two of them. Now, my Tesla is a 2024, and I don't typically use these key cards. Generally, I use my phone as the key, right? But I thought I should check these to make sure I have a good backup because I always carry one in my wallet. So I came out and I did what you're supposed to do. I kept my phone away from the car. I held the key card up here all over the place and nothing. It did not work. So I went to YouTube, of course, and did some of the fixes, reassociated the cards, which, by the way, worked. On the interior, the system recognized the cards. It's pretty simple to do. And I determined then that it's got to be that pillar area on the outside. So I contacted service. They sent somebody mobily. He brought new cards with him. He activated them against the car himself, and they didn't work outside either. So he determined that I needed some new sensor or pillar piece on the outside of the car. And what they did is they replaced this whole piece. It's brand new. And I could tell that by how clean it was and what it looks like as compared to the other side. Not that there's a huge difference, but you could definitely tell that it was new, and Tesla stated in the records that they replaced that section as well. My key cards work. I did not need new key cards. These things were fine, so they now work with the car. So what was the experience like? Well, I'll tell you the way it's supposed to work and then the way it really worked. The tech that came had Tesla set up a visit. Now, it was supposed to be another mobile visit, right? But as it turns out, I had to go to the service center, which is about 20 miles away from me or so. Not a big deal at all. They scheduled the appointment, and the way it's supposed to work is you take your car there, you park it somewhere within a blue bubble that shows on a check-in screen you get once you arrive, right? There was no parking. This place was packed, jammed, mostly, well, maybe half and half with Cybertrucks, which take up a lot of room, and other Tesla vehicles. Literally, there was nowhere to park. Within that blue area, and it is very picky, I had a spot just outside of the blue area, and it didn't recognize I was there. It has to recognize you're there, because that's the next step before you can proceed on the app. So I ended up parking just next to the curb beside the building within the blue area. I hit the button saying I was there. It said, great, we'll let your tech know or service people know that you're here so they can begin the repair. That's cool. They provided a loaner. However, when I clicked the pickup loaner car or whatever the next option is for the loaner part of the whole thing, nothing happened. You're supposed to be able to just drive up, drop off your car. Once you've provided a copy of your insurance and your driver's license, which I did, you just go find the loaner and drive off, right? No contact. Pretty cool idea if it works. It didn't. So I went in the building. Nobody's around. There's nobody. It's like these are ghost towns, right? I walk in the building. Finally, I see a door that says service, which is actually the entrance to the service area where they're working on cars. I go out there, and there's two girls sitting at a table desk-like thing, which is fine, and they helped me. I had to give them my driver's license, give them some information. She went out, got the car, brought it up. I got in the car, drove away. That was cool. And the way they do that is they set the loaner vehicle up on your phone as another option. It becomes your selected option, I guess, for a loaner. So it worked just fine. About an hour and a half later, and it was a 3.5 hour window for the appointment. About an hour and a half later, I got a message, maybe even an hour, that my car was done. Now, the way it's supposed to work is you drive the loaner back, park it within the blue circle, and then find your car, or you can go in and ask if you can't. But if you can, you jump in your car, drive away, and you're done. If there's any fee or charge, they'll charge the credit card that they have that's on file, which, by the way, you have to provide before you can do any service, right? And that's cool. I don't have any issue with that. So the way it worked for me, I drove there, I parked within the blue circle area. My car was sitting there charging, which was cool. I jumped in my car and I drove away. There was no charge, of course, because it was still under warranty. Pretty darn seamless in the end. I just left. It was great. I didn't have to waste time, stand in line, talk to anybody. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. Now, the loaner I got was a late model type Y, which is okay. I could care less. It's not my car. But man, full of noises. I'm not going to say it was gutless, because it certainly wasn't, but it was definitely not as quick as my Model 3. It's bigger, it's heavier, and it was older, and it was probably a lower Model Y, I'm sure. I think it was like the standard model. So it wasn't as fun to drive as my car, but it got me from point A to point B, and that's the whole point in a loaner, which you're not paying for, by the way. The only issue I had is that it only had, I think it was a 48% charge, not even half. And by the time I got home, and it did seem to burn a lot of battery, but by the time I got home, it was right around 41%, something like that. Went to the grocery store, drove back home, and it was about 30, I think it was 35% or somewhere around there. So I decided to charge it. Very slow charging, because it defaulted to the lowest charge possible on my system at home. I can go as high as 50 amps. It was at 32. So I ended up getting somewhere close to 40%. I took it back. It was at, I think it was 34%, something like that, when I dropped it off. Again, not really a big issue, although if I had needed to use the car a lot during the time I had it, I would have had to have spent time charging it, right? I think when you get a loaner vehicle, it should be fully charged. Why aren't they sitting there charging? Well, I know why they're not, because they got so many damn cars on that lot, there isn't even a place to park, let alone charge another vehicle, all right? Anyway, it all worked out fine. The car is fixed. I don't even have to take the key card out of my wallet to use, which I really like. I can just touch the pillar if I needed to. Again, I use my phone, so it's not really an issue. But if I ever needed to, I can just touch the pillar with the back of my wallet where the card is sitting, and it works just fine. I will say it works much better than I expected, because I thought you kind of had to take the key card out. Anyway, that's my experience and resolution with my first real problem with the Tesla. It's been about 2 years or so. Otherwise, the car's been spot on perfect. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Ever have to take your Tesla in for service? How'd it go for you? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.